We're common loaded for bear. Yeah, that's not gonna keep me out of anything. All right, so here we are. It is Monday night. Sorry, I'm putting stuff away. Trying to come out here and work a little bit while dinner is getting made. Came out here for about 30 minutes and just been picking up. It is 39, 40 degrees out here right now. Got the kids lying down on their homework. And then I just come out here and work for a little bit. So I came out for about 30 minutes, whatever, and put tools away. And now I'm back out here and I'm going to try to do some welding. What I would like to do is try to weld these doublers on and maybe fab up the anti-roll bar over there. We'll see. Stay tuned. Alright, there's no way I'm welding without music. So we're going to make this brief for you guys and put you in hyperlapse. I ran some bolts through this doubler. Mostly the shank part of the bolt, so I could kind of center that thing. And then I'm going to go around and tack it real quick. And then I'm going to blow a clamp on it. Keep it nice and flat on my nice, sweet welding table. I need some new gloves. I'm going to try not to burn my finger here. Yeah, let's do this. We're going to do 2 lefts and 2 rights. Let's get it. Well, that's all she wrote. That's all I could do. It's time to go in. I just did a little bit. Let me show you. You be the judge. I'm no welder. See, not very much done. That's it. Welcome back to Disassembling Your Race Car with Gabe Cogswell. Follow along as we take this thing apart. All right, so I'm out here on Friday night. It is like 6:15. Anyway, getting a jump on the weekend. I came out just to kind of line out what I'm doing. I'm a big list guy, so I'm going to make a little punch sheet and knock that stuff out. But this is what I've been doing tonight. I just cut a couple of brackets off here and nicked some of the tube. Going to have to get out here and weld it. Some of this welding didn't look that great, but plan. So I got to cut this piece out. It was for 10. I'm going to cut these strips off of here this weekend. I'd like to get the 4-link brackets and the wishbone brackets off. And then actually I'm going to drop this rear end and then I'm going to clean all the tube and mark everything for center and get this thing nice and flat in here. The whole car. Get it. And I need to probably pull my Dominator computer and my dash and maybe try to cover some of this. Anyway, but over here, got one of my 4-link brackets all welded out. And then I also cut this off of here and put it on this side. So I have a right and a left. These are going to be my new shock brackets. And we're going to weld out that other 4-link bracket. I might save those for the week. We'll just see where it goes. Cut that stuff out of the floor, and got my CJ race car Big Johnson anti-roll all welded up. Man, I feel like someone could almost put a dial indicator on there. Oh yeah. Hammer Concepts. Some of my stuff showed up yesterday for here. Got some more goodies from them over here. Better parachute mount. Throttle, their new throttle pedal. Some new wishbone mounts. Some weight tabs and different brackets for those. So I'm probably going to have to make a new wishbone, which sucks. I don't really want to do that. And then my boy Greg came through with some tube. And we are just going to get cruising. Oh yeah. Also got a sheet of carbon. That showed up. Woo! I think we're like ready to rock and roll. I should spend a little more time cleaning stuff up and get ready, tidying up the wiring. And then maybe covering up the motor. I really need to pull injectors and spray some WD everywhere and get everything lubricated. But maybe I'll make good progress and then I can do that during the week. Need to cover that. Anyway. Yeah. We're going to get cruising. Oh yeah. So, you might be wondering what we're going to do to this thing. I kind of already went over it, but plan for tubes. So, follow along here. We are going to cut this tube out and this tube out. That black line is, if I bury the tire up into here where the top of the old tub was, which is like down in here, bury the tub, and I ran a little piece of wood here with a marker on it. That's 3.5 inches on the top of the tire. So if I can put the bottom of this tube up by that line, I should be able to basically, if it's tubbed out, I'm going to say the tire could move up 4 inches. I could lower the back 4, almost 5 inches and be raceable. That's my plan. So obviously you can see these bars kick. So that, the bottom of the tub didn't quite touch that, but if I essentially could move the tub up to the top of the tube, there's 1 5/8 inches, right? So I'm gonna, this is also not at the peak of the tub, but anyway, I'm gonna move that, and then my new shock mounts are gonna go somewhere right in here. And so there's my old shock mounts. This is going to pick them up about 4 inches, because on my rear end, that shock mount is moved up 2.5 inches from the rear end I made. So automatically it would pick the car up like 2 inches. We're going to cut this tube out, this tube out, of course the 4-link brackets, the wishbone brackets, and we're going to put a new anti-roll bar mount probably across here, tie in with this, the new bar, mount the anti-roll, build some sweet X's in here, and then we're also going to X. We're going to X in here to the new bar. That'll be like right there. And X backwards, and this should just rigid this thing up a whole bunch. So, yeah, stand by. Saturday morning, we're out here. I'm gonna drop the rear end out. I'm gonna level this thing. I'm gonna clean the tube and find center line. That's my plan this morning. Here we are. Let's go. All right, I'm excited to be out here. This is going to be awesome. Let's check it out. So, we filled a couple of nicks in our tube. And then in here, we've got our foiling brackets. Well, it's going to take a little bit to get these babies in position. I'm no welder. But anyway, patched up our tube. Boy, that thing's not wanting to focus. It doesn't look that ugly, I promise. Some of these tubes weren't fully welded. But I'm going to hit my laser on my marks. Hit my laser on the back of the motor. And then these things, see how they can roll a little bit? Which Hammered Concept just hooked me up, dude. I mean, these slid right in here. He custom made these for me. So these are awesome. So the plan is I'm going to get this square to the center line. And then I'm going to make sure these aren't rolled in at all. Tack them. And then I'm going to run some gussets probably from here to here and from here to here. Try to beef this up a little bit. And then my anti-roll bar, the edge of the tube is going to be right here. And the anti-roll bar is actually going to, the anti-roll bar is actually going to fit in between the frame rails here and pivot up. And then my shock mounts are going here. Put a bar here and maybe cut this bar out. But these bars definitely got to come out. So that's the plan. I'm probably going to leave this gusset here because I think my double frame rail is going to land about right here. And I'll probably run a copy of that here. And then I'm going to X in between all that maybe. So we'll see. But like, yeah, look at that. I mean, that's not welded. So I might even cut that out. I don't know. But 4-link brackets got to go in. We're going to start there. If I can get the 4-link brackets and the shock brackets in here, then I can get the rear end back in here. And I have kind of done everything I need to do in terms of getting the old tube out, except these 3 bars. And this bar might stay. I don't know yet, but it's definitely getting a bar up here. And I'm cutting these out. So yeah, and then we'll do some X bracing everywhere. And this thing should be a hot dog. Then we'll go in there and double frame rail, and we'll be going fast. Yes, sir. Did I cut that lip off? Cut the lip off here on both sides. And there's still some extra things I need to cut off. That lip's gone. I need to cut that off and that off. And here's my pile of stuff that I've cut off. Some more of it over here that I've taken off. I just want to kind of keep track of weight. Anyway, so lasering a car is always odd because, like, you can tell that's not in center line with the tube there. But it goes up, it hits halfway in between this upper bar. You're kind of splitting some differences here because this car's probably not perfect. I got a digital angle finder, but there's half. Like, this tube is like 0.3 degrees from upright, but it hits the crank in the center, and then you're just kind of splitting some differences here, but that's the best I can do. That was a lot of messing around. I forgot to turn my camera on. So, theory from the inside of this, 7 3/8, and then I got an 1/8 inch doubler, so 7 1/4, and that gets me 16 on center. Right now, the bottom seems to be about right, and the top needs to kick in. So I'm gonna try to tack this, I think. Yeah, and maybe do a little more measuring, and then tack. I'm gonna tack this probably a bunch and make sure it's not moving around too much. But I'm concerned this has a little bit of wiggle. And I'm concerned if I don't get the bottom fastened, that if I try messing with the top, I'm just going to be like a monkey messing around with a football. So anyway, yeah, stay tuned. So I really like these. These are made by UB Machine, and they have a fixed end. So those are going to go to the outside, and on my rear end they go to the inside. And that way I can get a bolt in or out going that way. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to attempt to modify these a little bit, because I really want to, like, they'd probably work just fine if they were like that, but I'd need to still clearance them a little bit. But I'd like to pitch that shock mount, something like that. So I might even go a little bigger. But anyway, something like that. Smooth it out, make it look halfway decent. And then on the top of these, I'm going to run a bar. So these are going to sit somewhere about like that, is the hope. And then they'll get a support bar going right up to here, maybe. Anyway. All right, this is big stuff here. The shocks can go in. Let's get you guys a look. Yes, sir. And I think there's a hole, a half-inch hole back here. I'm going to run it into that tube. So there'll just be a little baby gusset there, and weld tack around there, and then they said a big gusset up to that, and we'll just see. I think this thing's gonna be pretty sweet, but I'm gonna throw the shocks in here real quick, see how they hang and dangle for me. Dangle and dangle. Now, in theory, these shocks are supposed to allow me to, these new shock brackets are supposed to allow me to drop this thing. I don't know. Of course, we're hitting the brake line thing. They're supposed to allow me to drop the back of the car roughly 4 or 5 inches. So I was almost bottoming out these things. These shocks. Oh yeah. Look at that. Just look at it. It can be pretty sweet. Actually hits the chassis. Oh, don't want to break our. Oh, and our fitting's clear. Sweet. Okay, see, you just can't know until you put stuff together. So I got to clip the brake line fitting off. All right, exciting times. Just like that. Okay. All right, so next I think we're gonna do, that's all tacked in there. We're gonna work on the bar here for the anti-roll and figure out what we want to do here for an X. Figure out maybe where these double frame rail bars will go. I want to get the X in back here before I cut these out. I don't want anything moving around, so some more important. So anyway, that's probably it. I might make this into a quick video. Hey, hit that like button, subscribe. I'm just out here just grinding for you guys, give you something cool to watch. Yeah, just out here going pretty fast, making my own race car. I like to race a lot. Feel like if you like my channel, there's a lot of racing. And I hope maybe you guys will learn something. I don't know. You can learn with me because I'm learning, and I'm just out here grinding, building everything myself. And I know there's a lot of build channels I watch. So yeah. Gonna notch a little pipe, 17 5/8 to 7 inside to inside. See how this goes. I haven't used this thing in a little while. Need some cutting oil is what I need. Okay, Give a little reference line here to center. Probably 1,000 ways to do this. And you know what? Should probably try to hack this thing off a little bit. There's no sense in trying to notch through a whole piece of tube here. So anyway, get that lined up. That looks kind of straight up and down. Actually have a little angle finder somewhere. But we're just... Alright. Yeah. Okay. I like to go over here. This is my sweet little fabrication setup. Don't laugh. That's how I make shit go fast right here. Nothing crazy, just give us a little clean area to weld. All right, there we go. Let's see how we did. I'm gonna say that's about perfect. On this side, it even creates on that side, which is good. Hey, we're nice and square. That tells me. But I think that's going to slide my anti-roll too far forward. So we're up against the weld over here. We're not up against the weld over here. But I was really hoping to get my tubing right up there. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I think that's a 6-inch arm, 6-inch center to center. What I had figured is that by the time we get out here, we're going to be somewhere around 8 inches. So if you put this right up against the tube, so that's going to put us out a little bit. We do have some adjustment with these, but I'd like to get that a little tighter. I mean, I could put this where I want, but I'd really like to get right there, right up against this pit. You know, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So anyway, what do I need to do? Well, don't know if that's showing you guys a good picture. Doesn't look like it. Sorry. So I gotta clip that, kind of adjust that tube a little bit. I'm just gonna notch out those pieces. 0.1. We'll take it. All right, we threw this bar in. I'm going to put these little supports in here on the shock mount. So, shock mount, I think we're going to leave this tube, okay? We're going to run a support down and grab this thing and come back up. And then on this side, we're going to run, the anti-roll will fit in here, and we're going to run some supports straight up to here. Run the anti-roll and X the middle of that. So this will be open, and then this will have an X. And then I can go ahead and cut these out. And go ahead and cut these out and move them up. I think that'll work good for tin too. So yeah, stand by. Thank you guys for following along on this journey. I hope you guys learned something. And I'm just learning as I go, and we're trying to make this thing faster. So I don't know. I feel like I'm going to share as much as I can with you guys. And I don't know everything, you know. I don't know very much actually, but I race a lot, and so I've learned a lot over the last couple of years racing all the time. I probably make 50 to 60 passes a season. That's a lot. I know guys race a lot more than that, and I know guys that race a lot less than that, but I like to try to figure out why things don't work, what's broken, what I could be doing better, and then we'll come out here and tear the car apart and put the parts on it, buy what we need, you know, sell more stuff, hustle parts, whatever I got to do to pay the bill, and we just keep slinging stuff together. I don't have money to pay a chassis shop or an engine builder or, you know, whatever else, a wiring guy or a tuner. I do everything myself. So thanks for following along, and let's try to get this thing fast. And by fast, I mean we got to go in the 3s. That's what we're shooting for. So I'd like a sub 1 second 60 foot this upcoming season and some 3-second passes. And I think that's totally doable. So let's go. All right, smash that like button and subscribe.